Hello out there. How are you? My name is LaVerne Berry, and I am the creative and CEO of Very Unique Designs. And in honor of Black History Month, I wanted to celebrate a boss lady with a lot of wisdom. She's regal, she's a fashionista, and she's a former owner of Jozette's. And I have with me today Jozett Mabry-Trahan. And I
Yes.
just want to highlight this woman on today. And those of you out there, you can give her a hand, a virtual hand
Hello.
clap. How
Yes.
are you?
Hi. I'm fine, LaVerne. Hi, everyone. How are you?
We are good over here.
Good,
Um,
good.
so I had the opportunity to work with Miss Josette
Hmm.
recently. I was able to design two T-shirts for her.
Yes.
So if we can just kind of talk a little bit about that. The two T-shirts. One was called "Work Until the Last Dollar Holla." Where did that
Yes.
inspiration, where did that creativity and inspiration come from for that T-shirt?
Okay. I have so many sayings from my younger years, and uh, work until the last dollar holla was one that I would use in my salon to the young ladies. We would get so you know packed with clients, and then especially holidays, Mother's Day, Easter, stuff like that, and it would get late, and I just have this thing about I can't refuse anyone, when they want to look beautiful. So I
Mhm.
would work late, and a lot of the girls, I would give them a choice of staying with me, but I would say, come on, girls, come on, let's work until the last dollar holla. And then I would get most of them that would sit and stay. Sometimes we would sit to 2, 3, 4 o'clock in the morning,
Wow.
getting people ready for whatever occasion it
Mm,
was. But that happened to be one of my favorite sayings.
okay. And you also
Yes.
had "Love Do What Love Do." What was that all about? What's that all about?
Yes, love do what love do came from my grandma, was such a loving woman to me. I'm the only girl out of three boys and the oldest girl, and she was a great part of my growing up. And she used to
Mhm.
say things to me like, love do what love do. And what that means is love is an action word, and love, when you say you love someone, you need to show some sign,
Right.
So she would always tell me, love do what love do, and always show yourself in love. And I carried that on into my adult life from a child, uh, just learning how to love me and love others. Yeah, so
Mm,
that saying came from that. Yeah,
awesome. I love
yeah.
it. I love it. So
Mm-hmm.
so let's get a little history about you as a shop owner. Like, how did this all start? The history of you wanting to actually start a shop. Where did this all
Mm-hmm.
come from? Where did the inspiration come from? Just give us some
Mm-hmm.
background on that.
Okay. I my grandmother, on my father's side, from a little girl, I've always been around, hair and, dolls and things. And my grandmother on my father's side, we lived in Texas for a minute because my dad was in the army. And my mom took us there to stay with her and my
Mhm.
grandparents. And she always did hair, her daughter's hair, my mother's hair, and everybody's hair. She wasn't a licensed beautician, but
Okay.
this is what she did. And then my granddad, who was a white man of Creole,
Mhm. Oh, okay.
and he was a house painter. So when he would come in, I must was about 4 to 5. I can remember it very clearly. And I would come in and he would come in the house and he would call, Jozett, tell somebody get Jozett, tell her to come, because me playing in his hair would relax him enough to just go to sleep. So what I would do, I would take a big kitchen match, and I would sit in the back of the chair on his shoulders, and I would pick up strands of his hair and wrap it around the stem, the matchstick, and just wrap it around and shuffle the curls off and then lay it down. Now that comes from watching my grandmother when she would curl hair and then take it off the curling iron and lay it down. So I watched that, and that's one of the things that inspired me. And then as I got a little older, my mom, we moved back to South Carolina with her mother. And she was a very, I would say I picked up dressing and loving to look nice and carry myself a certain way from her, because she would what you would call a proud woman, not arrogantly proud, but proud in
confident
the way
in
she carried herself. Yes.
I love
and
it.
She would go to the beauty parlor every 2 weeks, and I would go with her. She would take me with her to the beauty salon, and I can even remember the lady's name, Miss Mamie. And my grandma would get her hair washed, pressed, and curled, and just look beautiful. And the smell of a salon just stayed in me from a kid. I can remember that smell. And it just instilled in me that this is something that I want to do, and from a child, I would mix up potions and do my doll's hair and cut and stuff. So that's where that came from, and I love it. It's a passion of mine, and I love to do hair.
Wow,
Yes.
that is awesome.
Yeah.
So there are like two things that you mentioned there. Well, two that's kind of similar to me, but a lot of people don't know. One is that my grandmother owned a beauty salon.
Really? Wow.
Yeah, before I was born. Yeah.
Get
And
out.
I found that out later on in life.
Yes.
And I call myself a closet cosmetologist. But I mean, I went to school for cosmetology. I did graduate.
Okay.
I did hair, and then I kind of stopped. Yeah, I stopped in the like late 90s. Actually, yeah, late 90s. I stopped kind of doing hair. I went away. I was singing in this particular play production, Mama, I Want to Sing by Higginson. And
Yes,
the way
beautiful.
my dad, who was a pastor, passed away from cancer. And so
I'm so sorry. Yeah.
So when I came back, I kind of like veered a little bit away from that. And I just felt the need, let me go get a 9 to 5, a regular job. Let me not do the shop anymore. And that kind of, I moved away from that. So, but yeah, when you mentioned your grandmother, and I'm like, yeah, a lot of people don't know, but I guess now they know. But
Because I didn't know. Okay. Wow,
Yeah,
that's
so
beautiful.
you'd be surprised, right, when you talk to people, the
That's
different
right.
similarities. So I see this history with you with the shop and everything. Where do you see yourself evolving at this stage of the game, this point in life? I know you had the shop in Brooklyn. Could you talk a little bit more about that? And where you see yourself evolving now, because I know now you're not in Brooklyn. So where do you see yourself moving forward? As a beautician or owner, as a boss lady.
Yes, well, I graduated from Maxwell High School and the cosmetologist.
I know where that's at. Yeah.
Yes. And I worked in a salon It was hair day coiffures, Mrs. Stewart.
Mm.
And I often bring her to my Facebook page. I did before she got really ill. And
Okay.
I've only worked for one lady in my entire life as a beautician. And
Wait,
she
wait,
hired
wait,
me.
wait. Let's just go back. I'm sorry.
Uh-huh.
You only
Yes.
worked for one lady,
One
but
lady. I
beautician
only had
wise.
one boss. Yes. I've only had one boss in my life. And she hired me as a shampoo girl and a manicurist at 14 years old.
Oh, wow.
And I worked, I was a little church girl, and, it was church and work because I love church, and then doing hair, like I said, was a passion. So I worked with her from the age of 14 until until 17. And I graduated in 1967, and I graduated that June. And that July, which is my birthday, that was my goal, to work towards my birthday to open up my own salon.
And
And
how old were
God
you?
bless.
How old were you?
I was 17. I turned 18 that July. Oh God.
No way.
Somebody's
That's okay.
call. Yes.
Wait, you
Okay.
turned 18 and you
Yes.
opened up. Oh, wow.
My own salon. Yes.
Oh,
And
wow.
I had worked and saved my money. And this was one of my desires, to open up my own salon. So I had made it up in my mind that when I turned 18, I would be in my own salon. And I left Mrs. Stewart and went into my own salon, which the name of that salon was called Copycats. And that was also located in Brooklyn on Broadway, because I grew up in the Bushwick section. So basically that was my area. And I worked there, all of my teenage and young adult life. And then I had a space in between, like my grandmother would say, yeah, you're getting grown, honey. Yeah, you're starting to smell yourself, because, when you get a certain age and you making
Nobody
money.
can't tell you nothing.
Yes, honey. I'm making my own money. I thought I was grown, which is another passion of mine, young people. And if anybody know me, they know that I love to have young people around me. And that's just to teach and guide them, to keep them from going down certain roads of destruction, So I find myself, young people are drawn to me, and because I slipped away during my young time, and I got caught out on drugs and things, and I shared that on my page. But to God be the glory.
Yes.
The thing about it is, and I tell everybody, train your child up, and when they should grow older, they will not depart.
Oh my God.
And my brothers and I, we departed from the church, but thank you, Jesus, we came back to the Lord.
Wow,
and when I came back to the Lord in the 80s, I was able to open up another salon. Thank you, Jesus.
Wow.
Yes, with the help of my dad. Yes, with
wow.
the help of my dad and mom, I was able to open up another shop after I got myself back together again. And this one, it was still on Broadway, and the name of it was Jozette's. And so God blessed me with that shop, and a lot of young people and people in general came through, because like I said, doing hair is my passion, but I also cut men's hair and stuff. So men and women came in, and I was
How did that feel? How did that feel coming back into that environment after being delivered from being a drug abuser? How was that transition?
It was wonderful, because coming back, I didn't know what type of work I was gonna do. And I got involved with an association for recovering addicts. And I work with different ones to help addicts. So I really didn't know which direction I was going to go into, but I had clients. I called myself Jozette's traveling beautician, because I would go to people's houses and do their hair, and then they would come to my home. But what made me get the salon was God blessed me with so many clients until I couldn't do them at my home anymore. So I had to,
look at God.
Yes, I had to go into a building. And from that, you know, I was able to meet, greet, and come back. A lot of people came back into my life this way, because when they would pass the shop, they would see my name, Jozette's, up at the window. And a lot of people would come, because by this time now I live in Queens. I've been in Queens I grew up in Brooklyn, but since 69, I moved to Queens.
What part of Queens? You know, I'm Queens. I'm from Albany, but I live in Queens.
Really? I moved to Queens Village.
Queens Village before.
Yes. Wow. Unbelievable.
Wow. Okay.
So close, but yet so far. Unbelievable. Wow.
And
I lived in Queens.
Wow.
I lived in Queens, but my background was in Brooklyn. So I knew people in Brooklyn, basically. And people would pass the salon and they would see my name and come in and, Jozett, is that you? Jozett, I know this is not the Jozett that we used to hang out and whatever. Yes, this is me. And to God be the glory, because people don't understand. God can do miraculous things. And when he bring you back, he has a purpose on our lives. And we have to walk in his purpose. And so many people came through that salon, thank God. And I was able to witness to them. And they knew the lifestyle that I lived. And now they see the difference. So it was a blessing. Not just for me, but to a lot of people. Yeah.
And see, that's a blessing, because you're in the business of people. I mean, and technically we all as Christians should be, but you were in the proper position for God to be able to utilize you to minister to those that had knew you from before, knew where you came from. And now they're seeing how you've come full circle, and now you're actually delivered, and they can look at you as a testimony. Oh, wow. That's awesome. Wow.
And I thank God for allowing me to have a testimony. And that's what I tell people, you know, God has delivered you or brought you through certain things. It may not be my testimony, but you have your own. Some people with sicknesses and different things, you know, so it's a blessing to just share the goodness of the Lord. You know, and I'm glad he gave me a holy boldness that I can talk about his goodness. And now that I'm retired, I retired a few years ago. Yeah, when I say retired, yeah, I know.
Oh, wow.
When
so
you're
evolving. So what's happening now?
That's a better word.
What's Jozett doing now? What is?
Okay, I moved to Florida. About we've been here about 20 years now, because that was my plan, to retire and buy a home and come down here and open up a salon. But for whatever reasons, I just couldn't let go of New York, you know, so I continued on. And just since the pandemic, I made up my mind to make Florida my home. But I do plan to go back and forth, because I have children there and here. And I still have clients. I say I have a handful of clients God has blessed me to, that's been with me for a while, and to keep a little change in my pocket, you know.
Right.
So I thank
Work
God for
until the
that.
last dollar.
That, there you go. There you go. And so when I do go back to New York, I still have clients to keep me going. But
Very good.
I come down here to Florida to study to be quiet, you know, and
Okay.
and what that what
What
that
does that
means to
mean?
me. What
What
that
does that
means
mean?
to me,
Let's hear that.
yes, it's the scripture in the Bible where God tells us to study to be quiet. And I should have had it. I know it, but I should have had it. But nevertheless, I come down here to quiet down, to the noise, you know. I listened to a song by Brian Courtney Wilson, and he says that the noise is here. Something about the noise, you know, and God put you in a place where you can hear him. So study to be quiet is to get into yourself, you know, and it took me 40 years to learn how to love Jozett.
Wow.
I'm now
40
71 years old.
Wow.
40 years. And I'm now 71 years old. And I have learned to love Josette. Yes, thank you. Bless
You are
you.
a fabulous
Yes.
71-year-old.
Thank you. This July, God's willing, I'll be 72. And I'm
Oh,
blessed and I'm
wow.
grateful,
Yes.
you know, and I don't take my life lightly. I enjoy myself, and studying to be quiet has made me learn who I am. And it's given me an ability to study myself, to study others, to study my surroundings, you know, to take advantage of my life, you know, and what God has done, you know, like I like to go walking, and I pay attention to the trees, the leaves, I have a lot of ducks and different birds down here in Florida. So I pay attention to how God created such beauty around us, you know,
nature.
And yes, and I'm so inspired by nature and by his beauty. And I not only love doing hair, but I love fashion as well.
Can't
And
we tell? That you know, and that's where, and for some people there, I believe there's certain people, there's something about them and their personality that draws people. And I think one of your draws is your fashion. Like you elude this fabulousness that is just like, who is she? I gotta get to know. Wow. This let you know that somebody, this is somebody important. This is VIP.
Thank you.
So that's what, you know, and not in a boisterous way. It's just, it's like someone that knows who they are, has a rich heritage, is confident, you know, knows that she's a queen, and that's what you walk in. So wow.
God is good. And having my grandmother, the one from South Carolina, she taught me how to carry myself. And she also taught me a lady is not a lady unless she has a handkerchief, a pair of gloves, and a pocketbook. So I carried that on into my life. And when I dress, it doesn't matter if I'm going to church or not. I try to give God my best.
Yes.
And I always want to carry myself in a way that's pleasing to others, because a lot of times we don't realize we dress. I see people, you know, sometimes they just throw on this, that, and the other. No, I tell them, take your time, learn your colors. That's another thing I like to do, you know, is help people pick the right colors to complement their complexions, you know, because all of that is so important. And I just love beauty. And that goes back again to love do what love do. I try to show you that love do what it do with me, you know. So now I'm just focusing on, I'm starting my t-shirt line, and I thank God for you. Yes, because I watched you in church, And yes, and you're so blessed. I thank God for you. I watched you in church, and I know you can sing. My God, you sing like a mockingbird, you know, and it's beautiful.
Thank you so
And I
much.
would watch your page, you know, and look at you, and I admired you from afar. But what really brought my attention is I said, Lord, what am I want to do a t-shirt line with all my sayings, because I have quite a few. And I said, who can I go to? And I, you know, like I said, I follow your page, and I looked and saw some of your work, and I said, oh my goodness, she's the one.
Oh, wow.
That LaVerne, I got pulled her, because you know, you always greet me with a pleasant smile, a warm smile. And that's so important. You know, you don't know who's watching you, you know, so we must carry ourselves in love. And that's what you did. And that's what I received from you. And I said, I'm going to get in touch with LaVerne. And I did.
You did.
And thank God it worked out.
And I was so surprised, like, okay, what's this fabulous woman want me? What is this queen bee want me?
Yes.
Oh God, I thank you from the bottom of my heart. I thank you for your kind words.
Oh yes. I mean, I try to, you know, I always ask God for directions and to lead me to someone that can help me do the things that I need to do. Right. And you were that one. So that's where I'm going now. And I tell anyone, especially women of my age and people in general, God has given us all a gift, you know, and study to be quiet so you can start figuring out what your gift is and what can you do, because we get caught up into our daily living, you know, like our jobs, our 9 to 5, you know, whether it be working in the bank or in the post office or the telephone company, anything, you know. But what would you do for yourself and your family if these jobs weren't available? Can you cook? Can you clean? Can you just do things that can bring you enough money to take care of you and your family?
That's good. You know? That's good. Right.
And people need to start paying attention to what compliments you and what is it that people always compliment you on. And pay attention to that and use that, you know, as something to make a life and to make a living, you know. So that's what I've been doing down here in Florida, studying to be quiet and studying how to make
that's a book, Miss Jozett. Study to be quiet.
Yes.
Oh, I love it.
You know, so I try to encourage everyone, you know, find something that you love to do it, and do it with all your heart. Put God first and ask for directions, and He will make it work for you. Yeah.
Amen. Yeah. Amen. In the words of a true history maker is what I would say. And if I just before we close, and this is Black History Month, and I just wanted to know if there is anything that you can leave with our viewers. Maybe there is an upcoming entrepreneur, someone that's trying to find their way and figure out what their niche is, or even that seasoned person that's in a state or stage in their life where they're not sure where they fit or what to do at this point in life. Maybe there's some words of wisdom or some jewels that you can drop to encourage and impact and be able to kind of give them something to ponder and think about.
Of course, yes. What I would offer people and tell them is that write everything down. After you study to be quiet, start writing.
Because when you're quiet, he's speaking. So then you're writing.
Yes. And write down everything that comes to mind, you know, and after you finish, give yourself a moment, go back and review it and think on these things, you know, And I promise you, you will come up with something. I write everything down. I research it. You must do your research so you'll know what to do. Find out how to do what you do. And don't be afraid to ask for help. Whatever field that you're in, is someone that knows how to do it, how to direct you to doing it. So that's one thing that's so important to me. Come out of your fears. Ask
that's a good
for
one.
help.
Come out of your fears. That was a big one for me.
Yeah. And just with God's help, there's nothing that's impossible.
Nothing.
And trust and believe we have the Spirit of God in us. Whether you profess salvation or not, we all have the Spirit of God in us that will let us know when we're wrong and when we're right. So if you go to do something that's not in God's will or that's not going to be helpful to you, listen to that inner voice and it will tell you yes or no. You know, and think on it, work on it, and you can accomplish anything. I don't doubt myself at all. Anything that I want, I pray and I'll do it. And I have done it and accomplished it, you know, and then go back, check your list, because you'll find things start to happen and fall right into soup. And check your list and just keep it moving and watch the power of God. This is my latest thing now to share with people. Trust God, put it out there and watch him do what he do. I mean, it teaches us to learn him and to trust him.
Say that again. Say that
again. It'll teach us to learn him and trust him. And when you write it down, you can go back and check it off and say, wow, God did this for me. And what that is teaching you how to trust him. It's giving you a personal relationship with him. You know, like we tell our best friends or somebody close to us that we hold in our bosom, we tell them our secrets and our things that we can share with him. And that's another thing too. When you're planning to do something, go within yourself, listen to God, wait on him, don't rush yourself. It may take a while for him to bring things into fruition. But don't share your dreams until you see God making it happen. You know, because I find the word says, don't tell the left hand what the right hand is doing. That is so true. Because we get so excited and we want to share.
Yeah, you want to share.
You know? But a lot of times, if you share and you're not a strong enough person to do what you want to do, because I experienced that in my salon when I planned to open up another salon. The Spirit of the Lord told me, do not share with anyone but your children. And I told my children and one of my brothers, because he helped me. And after I opened the shop, I understood why God told me not to tell, because someone very close to me came to me and said to me, why would you open up a shop over here in Brooklyn? This is where God delivered you from drugs. And this is not of God. This is not of God. And God wouldn't take you back to a place he delivered you from. And that's when God revealed. Yes.
You had a doubter.
Yes. But had I shared that with them before I opened the salon, I might have not opened it, because I treasured this person's opinion.
Yeah. The seed would have been planted.
Yes. And after that happened, the Lord let me to know that's why I told you not to say anything until it happen.
Manifest,
So
right.
that was a lesson learned. Keep
Wow.
your secrets,
Mhm.
until God manifests.
Oh, this is so good.
Yes, yes,
You have
thank
some
you.
good nuggets, and it's just been a pleasure to have you be a
Good.
part of this Black History Month special with Very Unique Designs. And
Yes.
before we close out, I just want to let you all know that if you didn't catch it, those who didn't catch it can replay this. It will be on Facebook. It will also be on my Instagram and my YouTube channel under Very Unique Designs with the Z. Very Unique Designs, DEZIGNS. But we just pay homage and we just want to give it up for
Hmm.
Jozett Mabry-Trahan.
Yes.
She has been a
Thank
blessing
you.
to this live. And we
Thank
just
you
thank her for
so
being a
much.
part of this. And we
Yes.
just thank you all for being a part and watching. But make sure that you follow Very Unique Designs, Facebook,
Hmm.
Instagram, YouTube. And
Yes.
remember that this is Black History Month, and we want to
Hmm.
make sure that we're giving back to those that have been a blessing to where we've come right now. And we definitely
Yes.
want to pay homage to you, Miss Jozette. You're definitely a
Thank
blessing.
you.
We thank you
Thank
all for
you.
tuning in and watching. Bye
Thank
bye
you.
now. See you
Bye-bye,
later.
guys. Bye. Yes. Beautiful.